I love ginger candy.
I know.
So
it's
good.
good, isn't it? There's some right in that tree right there.
What?
Right here.
Really?
This is my Christmas tree cookie jar that I got from a friend, and we like it so much we had never put it away.
I was wondering why you had a Christmas tree.
Yeah, and it's ginger candies in there.
Gonna eat on the podcast. So Michelle has a Christmas tree on her table, and I just kind of ignored it and assumed that she had problems, but it's got candy in it, so there's no problems to be had.
Didn't want to put her Christmas decorations away.
I mean, I still have one in my house that the cat eats a lot of. It's not good. Anyway, so inner goodness. That's the today's topic.
Okay, inner goodness.
So in Tibet, they have a belief that basically the humans are good, and that they do everything with this intention that I am basically good. Versus in the West, I am basically broken. So they have faith, if you will, in the fact that they have good hearts deep down, no matter what shit comes up on surface.
Oh, wow. That's
that they have an inner goodness. And that's part of my practice, is to act knowing that deep down inside, I'm all right. You know, and once you meditate and see all the neurotic tendencies, you see all the habits, you see all the self-hate, you see all the, bullshit. Yeah. Underneath all that, you're like, I'm not that bad. You start to see and understand that you might be confused, but you're not completely lost. You're kind of all right. And so you need this candy and let you soak that in.
So that's interesting because
should I open it like
yeah,
like ASMR.
One of the things that brings to mind is working on myself was a belief that we have a divine spark inside of us and that it is perfect and cannot be touched. And if we, I guess you could, some people may call it an inner child. So it's the innocent, pure part of us that everybody has that needs to be recognized and nurtured and paid attention to, so that we stop all these false beliefs about how bad we are and how we don't, meet up to have what the next person has, or just all these ways that we feel bad about ourselves. We need to focus on the fact that there is that part of us inside that is innocent and needs to be nurtured and loved, that was kind of maybe lost in our childhood when we got those messages that we weren't good enough, or that, it was our fault or something as children, which is so tragic that children, if they have a hard home situation, that they end up feeling that it's their fault. And it's just so sad because that carries through to adulthood, and then their relationships and the problems in their relationships because of that.
I'm almost done chewing. I'm sitting far away because I don't know how loud I'm chewing.
Right.
And this is like going into my gums and between my teeth.
Isn't it good? Have you had those before?
No, it's very good, but it's
yummy.
A dentist nightmare.
Oh yeah.
I'm not looking forward to
don't pull your fillings out.
This, I just got one. Also, you have a shitload of gum on your table.
Those are Japanese. They're kind of like Starburst, but they have a little bit of a different flavor and texture.
I really want to invest my time in that right now, but I can't. We're talking. So, there's a quote that I love by Pema that is, it's that. Drawing a blank here. The innermost essence of our mind is without bias. Things come and things go, on and on forever. That's just the way things are. Our innermost essence, our heart, our childlike wonder, if you will, doesn't judge what it sees. Right. It just sees.
Right.
And that's awareness. And the awareness is the inner goodness because we're conscious.
And all those, again, I say false beliefs because we took them on maybe as children or even as young adults.
What if we were trying to say all beliefs? Let's get rid of all beliefs.
Okay.
And then just be
there you go. Yeah.
Here.
Right.
And without any, that's the childlike wonder, is they don't
true.
have any
That's
preconceived
true.
belief. In post-meditation, be a child of illusion. So when you're not meditating, look at the world like it's a dream. Be like, whoa. Lilacs, they smell crazy. Don't even think about lilacs, just smell it. And you're like, whoa. Or eat a meal like you've never eaten it before.
Right.
See everything with fresh eyes. And then you're like, that's the inner goodness. That's the inner joy. That's just like, isn't it crazy we're alive? Pretty nuts, I think.
Yeah. And understanding that just helps you to, because you're going to have those moments where you're lost in your thoughts or your heartbreak or your feelings. And then all those things are churning in your head again about why did this happen? But to understand and bring it back is the technique that needs to be practiced.
That's exactly what meditation is.
Right.
Coming back again and again and again and again.
Exactly.
Like non-stop. It's returning home to the present moment, repeatedly. It's not staying in the present moment all the time forever. It's like coming up for air.
Right.
And the more you practice, you come up for air more often.
Right.
So I'll be on a walk and lost in thought about something, planning my next podcast or something lately. And then I'll just come up for air and hear the birds, feel the dirt, and be like, oh my God, I'm alive. Without trying. It's awareness is a natural thing. We can't create it. We can't control it. And we can't, we can't artificially make it. The minute we do, it becomes self-conscious. It's like, there's light effort involved, but it's basically a natural occurrence. That awareness is something that we all have moments of it every day. We just don't recognize it, I guess.
Right.
We're lost in thought, and then we come out of it and we notice, no more birds. We notice a cloud. We notice a cloud, and we're like, whoa, and then the chatter in our mind just stops. And then we go back in the chatter right away.
Right.
But the goal is to notice those gaps more often. And then that's kind of watering. It's not making awareness happen more often. It's just noticing when it does. And just, then those gaps get longer and longer. So I guess that's kind of making it. I don't know.
And also, when you start feeling, like I say, feelings, because, our feelings are created by the thoughts we have.
Oh, yeah.
And if we're thinking, say, on a past, something that happened 2 weeks ago that was bad, and we start thinking about it.
Or 20 years ago.
Right.
Some
we start thinking about it, and then we start feeling bad about it. To be able to recognize what we need to do with that feeling, again, coming back to the present, or, also there's some people that teach that, because it's, your inner child that is feeling that pain. Sometimes that pain wells up and it's because you haven't really addressed it. Maybe you haven't spent time with it to figure out why. And there's a technique where you can actually ask yourself questions about, what is bothering you. It's like kind of like talking to yourself, but you're talking to your inner child saying, why does this hurt you? Why does this bother you? And if you can bring those answers out just by spending some time in meditation or in silence and presence, that it can help you to release it.
That's really good, because I find that there's a lot of stored crap in me, I'm sure. Yeah. Sometimes literally, but...
Yeah, me too.
Coffee improves health quite a lot. Actually, I stopped drinking coffee.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling. Anyway, I find that...
I recommend celery juice.
Ew, it sounds disgusting.
Very, very good. It'll just keep you going.
What's it taste? Can you just eat celery?
It's like celery. I mean, it's just like liquid celery. Yeah, just get a juicer. Do celery juice every morning. You want to be problem at all going.
Can you buy it?
No, I make it.
Oh.
Yeah, I make it. Every morning I take a 16-ounce glass of celery juice. It's supposed to be very good for you.
The world knows your secret now.
Yeah, I know. But you don't want to take it if you have to go somewhere or do something, because you might have to use the bathroom a few times. So, but if you need something to help you go, that's what I recommend.
I'll carry some Dunkin' Donuts napkins in my pocket.
Yeah.
So I find that there's a lot of built up tension and negative emotions in my body that I haven't faced yet. But just knowing that, I can't just face them. They don't just surface up on my call. I had to how do I find them, basically? They come up randomly without me calling for them, but I can't just go and finding them. But what you said makes sense. Asking questions to kind of fish for them, I guess.
And if they come up, you may be going along for a few days and you feel great and everything's good, and then all of a sudden this feeling, where did that come from? But address it right then and there. Try to, if you have the time, to go in and just say, what's going on, and why is this hurting? Why does this feel this way? And eventually, as that stuff clears, it should happen fewer and fewer times where if a negative feeling comes, you know exactly how to reroute it and have it go the other way because you keep practicing this.
Kind of let it come through.
And you know what to do with it. So your majority of your focus is on feeling good and feeling the way you should feel, because you know that when one of those painful feelings surface, you know that you've dealt with it and you've released it or healed it. And if something comes, like say just frustration with something somebody does, or jealousy, or any of those things that we deal with that don't feel good inside of us, as you address it, instead of burying it, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because for years I was just buried everything. I just buried everything.
Graveyard of emotions.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And it was, that's probably where the big pit in my stomach came from.
Yeah.
Wasn't being dealt with. And I've since learned how to do this, how to address those feelings when they come up. And it's honoring yourself, treating yourself like you're important enough to say, this matters, and I love you, and I want to take care of this, and I want to be there for you.
Yeah, and good or bad. As for me, it's not even about feeling good. It's about feeling whatever it is. Just feel it and let it no longer let it be a threat to you. Yeah, not even with the intention to get rid of it. Just hang out with it.
And also not and again, it goes back to accepting it and paying attention to it. Which helps.
Attention is a form of love.
Yeah. Whereas burying it and just, I don't want to feel this, just go away, is just so sad, because that's why I think so many people have so much pain inside, because they never handle it and take the time to figure out why and just ask yourself those questions. And it may mean that you have to cry for an hour to release it. But just spending the time to do that will help, so it's not all stuck in there. And our bodies are amazing. They tell us.
Yeah.
Our bodies give us signals.
It turns into a disease.
Yes.
Eastern medicine includes the mind and emotions.
Why I always had the pit in my stomach. Yeah. Why did you have this gut feeling?
Or when you're angry, your heart's going a million miles.
Your heart's fluttering. Or your body, if you can really learn that, and
read
I think
the signals.
It's sad in our culture because I think we ignore a lot of that.
We have to gain an emotional intelligence so we can start reading our sensations and translate them into what emotion is this.
Right.
Like, okay, we know what it's like to feel sad, but what does it actually feel like? And when you actually go into it, you're like, whoa, I actually can't describe it very well.
Right.
There's a lot going on here. It's a very weird and changing. It's like, it really is like internal weather, because you look at it, and as you're looking at it, it's already changing. You're like, well, shit, I think I'm sad. And then it's shifting and moving. And But if you don't deal with it, as much as my brain says, well, if I don't feel it right now, then it's gone. It's gone. And even though I read that it's not the case, my brain still doesn't believe it, because I'm like, well, I don't feel it in this moment.
Right.
But it stores in you, and it manifests in weird ass ways.
Yeah, it does. And what's important is to recognize the mind, body, soul connection.
Yeah.
Because until we realize that everything we think, feel, how we eat, how we take care of our bodies is all connected to our emotional well-being and our physical well-being. But see, again, in our culture, take a pill, get rid of the symptoms.
Yeah.
And then we're still really spent in these other ways, emotionally and physically, because we're not viewing all of this as one system.
We dissect ourselves from it, thinking we can one-up the universe. And be like, well, food doesn't really affect me. It never has, so why would it now?
Right.
But it has, and you just haven't realized it.
Yeah.
And your body's changing and shifting.
Yeah.
Back to emotions, though, I like Thich Nhat Hanh. He says, a little mini meditation. He says, breathing in, I feel, let's say, anger, whatever. I feel a strong emotion. Breathing out, I smile, and I stay with this emotion. And I stay with my breath so I don't lose myself. Nice. Love that. Stay my breath, I don't lose myself. That's so, badass.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
So it's when you feel that, I've noticed when I feel the extreme emotion, I'm automatically reaching for a way out. It's crazy. Like shame. The minute it comes, embarrassment is a better word.
Okay, yeah.
The minute I feel, red hot embarrassed, I see myself trying to divert from that.
Right.
By either people pleasing or turning on the PlayStation or going to take a nap.
Yeah.
Even
or
that.
Eating. People do, they eat to get
I'm bad with eating.
But,
I should eat more, actually. There's
not
like
take
a
responsibility.
million methods in our culture to. There was a fly in this room.
Oh yeah.
And he needs to leave.
You're in the country. Yeah, we have all kinds of bugs here. But see, also I like taking responsibility for what you're feeling is also really important.
Yeah, because then you're in control of your emotions in a way.
Exactly. And you're not blaming it on somebody else.
No, because then you give them the keys to your happiness.
That's right. Exactly.
Then you're like...
depending on somebody else to do things so you can be happy.
Yeah, and screw that.
No, it doesn't work.
Can't rely on other people.
Right. No, you can't. Absolutely not. Because when they're gone, what are you going to do? You know?
And as morbid as it is, someday they'll die probably. Then you're like, well, I'm miserable forever.
They'll choose to leave you or whatever. And if you put everything into what they do to make you happy, this is why relationships can't be good until you're both happy inside of each other. Not that they can't be good. I'm not saying there are no good relationships if you aren't perfect inside. I'm just saying that that's the goal.
There are like I've learned a lot from my girlfriend, and she's helped me heal myself by and I've helped. I would like to think in the other direction where we help each other.
Absolutely.
But there's no codependent clean going on there.
Exactly. You know.
I look at it this way. I mean, when we die, or this dies with us or whatever, we're stuck with ourselves forever. Right. So why not invest the chips in that? Yeah. Not in a selfish way.
Right.
Not in closing yourself off from everything that's going to come and go, but having stability with something that's you're stuck with forever. It's The Wisdom of No Escape. It's a book by Pema Chodron, but that's the idea. Right. Wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
Book by John Kabat-Zinn. I'm just going to keep naming books.
You know, your happiness into another person and what they're doing and how they're doing it, and again, it's a form of control, but number one, that person feels smothered.
Yeah.
And because it's unhealthy. And the other person is unfulfilled because you can never get all your happiness from another person. It just doesn't work that way.
Have you ever smothered someone? I don't mean literally.
Well, I guess I have to say that I've felt smothered, you know, in my own relationship, and know what that feels like. And it's just very sad because you're trying to do everything you're supposed to do to be that person for that other person, and it's never enough. Never enough. And so that's an awful feeling because it's like you're always told, you know, that it's not enough.
Yeah, then you're responsible for all their... Right. There's a lot of pressure on one person.
Yeah, a lot. And that's why it breaks down the relationship completely, you know? So it's very important, again, to just go back to being responsible for your own emotions, your own feelings, and handle those without blaming another person for them. Handling those within yourself. And once they get acknowledged and recognized, acknowledged, handled, they can be released, and then you can start to feel better in every way possible, you know?
My brain just was like, what was the topic? Inner goodness.
Yeah.
I'm going to go backwards.
Okay.
Kind of combining with self-acceptance, but through contemplation, I'm sure prayer, meditation, whatever form you pick, seeing all your dark colors, basically, your dark sides, bad habits, neurotic tendencies, whatever. The inner goodness is the part that sees all of that. You see, like, there's nothing good with me. Like, this is all crap. But that part that is witnessing those things in you isn't judging them, for one. Right. And for two, why else would you be upset that you have those things in you? The part of you that knows how to be loving. If we were intrinsically bad, then we would do horrible shit and not feel bad about it.
Right.
Why else do we feel so guilty and shameful once we do something bad?
Because we want to be good.
Because our heart our heart knows how to do good deep down. We just get lost and confused. Yeah,
right.
and crazy.
It wants to be good.
That's how it is to be human, I think.
Right, the human
condition. Just how it is.
Yeah,
it's not...
And it's also something that you're not going to figure all out and fix it all within... I think that's another cultural thing that's hard about Americans, is we want everything fixed very quickly. And this is something that is a lifelong journey, and something that just like your relationship with God or whatever spirituality you have in your life, you know, it's a process. It's not something that's just, oh, well, today I went to church and I'm good. I have a good relationship with God. It's not that at all.
We're cool.
And that's why I love the model of, you know, you're going to fall, you're going to sin. It's, do you choose to pick yourself back up and ask for forgiveness and forgive yourself and keep trying. Keep trying, because we're human, and God knows that, and he's willing to forgive us all of that, so that's just so freeing to know that you are, that's the kind of love that is available to you, that unconditional love, just like a parent and a child. Just realize that you will be welcomed back with open arms, but you have to want to go back.
Okay.
So you have to, it's not like, I can just live this life of sin and God will condone it. And no, there's always there's got to be a choice. It's a relationship that you have to choose.
Okay.
It's not, I can just do what I want and God will be there for me.
Yeah,
he's not there because you're not going toward him. You're not bringing yourself back to him.
It's very on the fine line of enabling someone, but I do see.
Yeah.
God's a tough word for me, but I use, as we know, we're different views, but birds.
Morning doves.
Yeah. But I view it as, like our hearts, our basic human nature of love and compassion, that never goes away. So I guess in the comparison to God, it's the idea that if you want to help yourself, then your heart will help you help yourself in a way.
Right.
Because you realize the bad path sucks. Like, this isn't working. I go so back and forth with the mentality because I've seen people hurt people.
Yes.
So like somebody that is craving and wanting to get this thing will lie and steal to get what they want. Mm-hmm. And they'll do it to the people that want to take care of them. So it's hard. There's a hard line there, but not everyone. You can never generalize.
Right. And I think that you do certainly have to assess every situation. But again, you have to remember there's always got to be that element of genuinely wanting to change.
Yeah.
We still have to love a person that keeps maybe regressing and we still are called to love them no matter what.
Don't let them leave your heart, is what Dalai Lama says. So.
And through that love, hopefully they can recognize that and want to come back to it to foster that relationship. But if they don't genuinely want to change and to become better, you're right. You don't just say, "Oh, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do with your life, you're fine. Just go take drugs for the next 50 years." It's like, okay, because again, we always have a choice.
You need some boundaries there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some tough love where you're like, "Look, if you don't get better, I can't take care of you anymore. Like, I'm here for you if you decide to get help.
That's right.
Go to rehab or something.
Exactly.
But if you keep doing what you're doing, I can't support that.
That's right.
And I think that's important because that's a fear of mine. I'm so nice to people. I wouldn't want to enable somebody to become an alcoholic or something.
But you're actually being loving by doing that.
Yeah.
When you turn to a person and say, I want the best for you, and this is not the best because it just keeps you stuck in the problem.
Yeah. So
I have to distance myself. I need to, pull away. And that actually is loving. They call it tough love. Mm-hmm. But it's
destroying Buddhism is what's called.
And unfortunately, that's kind of what it often gets to before it'll get better, because it's kind of ground zero, where it's like the person gets rock bottom.
Yeah, but
they
maybe
get rock bottom because people just turn away from them. But that's the way they're going to learn.
No mud, no lotus. So through suffering, they'll learn something. Maybe.
Right.
And they might have to suffer, and you can't do anything about it. You just have to. It hurts, but you have to let them fall in a way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's called idiot compassion if you're just let somebody screw you over and over again, and that's something I've done enough in my life that I want to make sure. Yeah, me too. We're on the same path with that.
Me too, absolutely.
So for sure, there's a fine line of, but again, like you said, use the wisdom of the moment. You didn't say that, but along those lines, right. You still want what's best for them.
Absolutely.
Then there's nothing wrong.
That's why we can pray for people that we may not be able to have relationships with, or can't be around, or can't have to distance ourselves because of substance abuse or something. But we always have to we have to want the best for them, whether that's through prayer or just well wishes, or always putting good things out to for their, just wanting the best for them and wanting them to, because really the only person that can help you is yourself. You
yes,
know?
and sometimes action's necessary. So sometimes wishing well is good, and sometimes acting is a necessary time.
Right,
but
right.
if you, like you said, if all options are exhausted and all you can do is keep them in your heart, and that's your practice.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
It's hard sometimes.
Well, and the highest form of love, I believe, is, loving your enemy, loving those who hate you, which is very difficult. Very difficult.
They're the
Jake.
best teachers.
Yes. And
who else is going to call you on your shit?
That's the thing. When you really are, every issue that you have in your life is something you have to just look within and look at yourself. If you were apathetic, that's almost worse than hate.
I've done that.
Yeah. Just being like,
I don't care.
Hell with you.
They're dead to me.
Yeah.
Like when someone's like, I don't care what people think about me, but they have this negative feeling underneath it. That's like this forced apathy versus truly not minding what people think of you. There's a difference. Mm-hmm. But they look very similar.
Mm-hmm. We've had this conversation, not you and I, but another person and I, about atheism. Being
curious of your view of that.
Well, if you say you don't believe in God.
Oh, yeah. You're believing in that.
Exactly. That's exactly right. If you truly didn't believe in God, you probably wouldn't even say that you were an atheist. Because it wouldn't even enter your mind that there could or couldn't be a God. And so that's just, like I said, that's not maybe my belief, but that's something to think about. Like, because it's almost, atheism almost can be like a hate of God, but it's still an acknowledgement that there's a God. So I think there's different things, but if somebody truly has to prove a point that they don't believe in God, then they almost are saying, they're still saying, or I guess is there a God? Is different than I believe in God or don't believe in God.
What if
right?
Because I used to label myself as one, and my view on that whole thing was always, I don't know. It's not. I haven't proven wrong or right. It's kind of like, it's not my thing, but I don't really. I guess that's where it lies.
Also, I think that, like, Deepak talks about the fact that the word God has been, because
it's such a messy word.
I really think that it's been overused and abused over time. And when people hear it, now they have an aversion to it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because of all the negativity that's been attached to it.
So much.
You can push that word aside and say something else, and people do. Many people use all kinds of things.
The universe.
The universe.
I like that word.
That's the universe. So
love.
Right. Eternal,
soul, collective consciousness.
Right, exactly. So if you look at it that
Spider-Man.
way. Yeah. Bugs Bunny. Yeah. Oh my
Michelle
gosh, look out the window. You want to see birds? My mourning doves are on the back of the garage there. See them?
No.
See them?
Oh, yeah, I do.
They're looking in at us, Jake.
Feel judgment via birds. Inner goodness. And God and Spider-Man. We've gone way off topic.
Jake and I have a lot of inner goodness together. We have a lot of fun, so our podcasts go way too long.
Well, what I like about you is nothing. I haven't been mean enough to you on these. We have a weird relationship where I'm just very abusive to her. I like to hear your view of God and Christianity, because that used to put a bitter taste in my mouth because the fear-based people and people that push it.
Yeah.
And to hear a different view that connects to the same lessons I'm learning through Buddhism or life in general, it's cool. It's cool to have this conversation that I can really see.
And likewise, me too.
A bigger view of the world.
Because it was a day when it was like, no, it's about God and Christianity, and I welcome your views.
Yeah, it's about science.
Yeah. I mean, that's just not understanding.
In my opinion, there's nothing more dangerous than a solid belief. Because the minute you have the solid belief, that's why people go to war.
And judge others.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're not just a vegetarian.
You're no different. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at all the different labels nowadays. But
exactly.
That's creating this, I believe this, and if you don't,
then you're bad.
And it's back to the jealous God realm. It's your happiness takes away from my happiness. It's your view takes away from my view. But who gives a shit? And also, what if we don't know?
Yeah.
The truth is we don't know.
There's so much we don't know.
if you stop labeling reality, then it speaks for itself, and it's a beautiful thing.
Right, absolutely.
But we have to label everything. We have to explain why the trees grow. I mean, it's cooler to not know. Yeah. It takes away the miracle of everything if you explain it. Exactly. I think.
And that's why, to recognize that science doesn't even come close to knowing everything.
Knows a lot.
Knows a lot, but
there's a lot we don't know, and science is always changing its theories, and it's never solid. Right. Which reality itself is never solid. I mean, we don't know, and we're never going to know. Like, we can't even explain reality in words. Words are limited. Right. So why have a whole system based on words and worship that system when reality is right in front of us for the taking? Right. That's kind of the view.
And that's where trust comes in. Trusting. Faith. Yeah, faith. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in that.
I'm new to it, but I have faith in inner goodness. Yeah. And some science.
That's good. And but science can be that rigid belief where people say, if you can't prove it, it's not real. And it's like, no, sorry, don't believe that. Do not believe that.
That being said, the Dalai Lama said if neuroscience or whatever proves something wrong in Buddhism, it's no longer true in Buddhism. So that's kind of cool. I think, but that means the things that's proven right have some solidity to it. But there's still so much that we don't know, and there's always going to be, like, what's dark matter? I don't know. We give it a name, though.
And face it, that science is really about the physical world.
Yeah.
And if you believe in God or the universe or the spiritual world, you just can't say that science is the only view on anything. But plenty of people do. Mm-hmm. So, and also claim that they believe in God. And it's like, that doesn't work because science is about the physical world. And there's we're talking about two different realms here,
I used to have a bumper sticker that said, I believe in science, you believe in whatever you want, or something like that. I think the scientific mind is very much the same mind as a monk. They both are curious of what reality is. They're both open because they never know what is going to come through the equation. Right. And they both observe and with a sense of curiosity and warmth to it. They're like, ooh, what's... Yeah. But yeah, there are, any group of people that's rigid views of anything. I say, cool, you do you, just don't push it on me.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
How do you know someone's a vegan? Don't worry, they'll tell you. It's horrible. But...
I know. Yes, they will until you're done with that.
And the friendship. I hope I don't have any vegan friends out there or listeners. Much love to you. Some I've met are a little pushy with anything. Yeah. They ruin it for the bunch. That's right. That's right. A couple apples spoil the bunch, kind of. There's nothing wrong with Christianity, but there's some psychotic Christians out there.
Absolutely, that ruin it for everybody. And there's
same in Buddhism,
every single every single belief. There's that because
my way or the
people
highway.
Carry it too far.
Yeah,
and they get all, like you said, preachy about it and say, you can't believe anything else, and it's not good.
It's falling in love. I look at it this way: it's a finger to the moon. Is that I think all religions and spirituality and stuff point to the moon, and the moon being life, right? Mm-hmm. So it's people falling in love with a finger. It's like falling in love with a cookbook but never cooking. You don't have to worship the cookbook. Just cook and have fun and enjoy reality and witness reality. And you realize that reality is in no one's possession. It just is. Right. And so then you no longer have to have this rigid view of how things are. You have a way to get to reality. That's what the religion or whatever is for. Right. And to live a good life. It's a guidebook. But don't fall in love with the guidebook. Just let it go. There's a saying called, if you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. Very interesting. Wow. Or, or get rid of everything, even the antidote. Don't
get attached to
including
the
method that wakes you up. Yeah. So if you get attached to meditation, there's an issue. Yeah. Suzuki Roshi says, meditate like you're on fire, and at the end of it, it's like there's nothing left, not even ashes. So when you get up from meditating, let go of that experience completely. Yeah. And be like, this is a new...
Right. Yeah. Which goes right along with the present moment, just being connected in the present moment, not just addicted or attached to one thing all the time.
What do I mean?
Another 10 minutes?
What am I going to name this one? All right, now we're actually...
Okay.
That's a wrap.
Okay.